So today we start a new chapter, compensation benefits, or comp and ben, how we used to say. These are the leading questions we're going to answer. What is equal reward? What is equality in that sense? You know, this is one of the most important challenges whenever we determine the compensation. But more importantly, we talk about what are the components. I mean, when you will look on your payslip, which you're gonna get, you will see that on a payslip, Gehaltsabrechnung, there are different components. Where do these components come from? Why are they there? Yeah, and to what relate these different components? And how can companies determine how much you get related to these different components? So I guess this chapter is relevant to you in both terms. One, because you will be rewarded in the future, hopefully. So you will know what you get and why you get what you get. But of course it's also relevant because we are in the HRM course. Okay. Then I would like to add one question. Question about motivation. We compensate people in companies because we think we can motivate people. Right? I expect you to do something and you get something. So pay is seen also as a kind of motivator. And while this sounds very obvious, in reality it's more complicated. We can't really say that money always motivates. So we're going to have a look at psychology a little bit and ask ourselves, how is the relation between what people get, compensation, pay, and their motivation? Okay. If you look at this slide, you see on the on this axis here the performance, the contribution people make to the company. Right? People contribute to the success of a company, and on the other side they get something. I name it reward. When we talk about reward, it's not only money, right? It's everything. And the relation between performance, contribution, and the reward must be kind of balanced. Right? If this is balanced, if I feel as an employee that what I get somehow relates to what I do, then I'm fine with it. Right? If I'm person A, I feel that, well, I don't perform much, but I get a lot. It's not equal. And could make me feel bad. Yeah. On the other side, person A is in a better position than person B. Person B performs a lot, always goes the extra mile, exceed expectation all the time. But what this person gets is not in balance with the reward this person gets. So that's a very simple idea. That we say equality means, equity means that there is a relation between performance and reward. Okay? So here we differentiate between two different types of equity. Not equality. Equity. Sorry. One thing is distributive equity. That simply means how relates what I get to my contribution compared to others. Well, sometimes it does not really matter what I get in absolute terms, but what I get compared to my colleagues. Yeah, I mean, people are not dumb. They see the performance of their colleagues, and they might also know, depending on the culture a person lives in, I know what they get, and if I feel that my colleague gets more, even though this person does not perform as much as I do, I don't care about the absolute amount what I get. I just simply think that this is not fair, right? So this is distributive equity. The other term, and we will focus very much on this, procedural equity means behind every compensation system there is a rationale, there are formula, there is a system behind. So what you get is determined very systematically. And the question is whether the system as such is fair. once I know how much I get and why I get as much as I get, do I feel that the way the company determined what I get is really fair? That's about procedural equity. We're going to talk about this, right? Okay, so let's start. Think about a company, let's say 100 people, 100 employees. It's a small company, small mid-sized company, 100 people. And I have a salary budget of, let's say, 5 million. Okay? 5 million. So, a very simple compensation system would be simply to divide 5 million by 100. And then, if I got it right, every person would get 50,000 euro. That would be simple. And simple is good. Yeah? The more simple things are, the better they are. We all would agree that this would not work, right? It would be simple, but it would not be fair. And now the question is why? Why is it not fair? And the answer is on this slide. Would you say that the bigger the responsibility of a person, the more he or she should get? Would you say that a manager taking care for people, a manager who has some strategic responsibility should get more than somebody without leadership responsibility? Yes, of course. Yeah, check. Right. Would you agree that people who are in a strategic position, who are in a key function? Yeah, you remember maybe what a key function is. A key function is a function which is extremely important for the long-term success of a company. Let's think about the purchasers, Aldi et Aldi. Yeah? Think about the R&D department and all those companies which focus on innovation. Would you think that people in those strategically important functions should get more on average than those people who are not on a strategic position? Yes, of course. Check. Yeah. Okay, we can say, well, okay, responsibility, that's fine. Strategic relevance, okay. But isn't it about performance? Isn't it that we want people who perform better should earn more than those who perform worse, perform less? Would you agree? Yes, of course. Check. Yeah. Would you say that a person that has a university degree should earn more than a person without a university degree? Yes, of course. Should somebody with a doctoral degree earn more than somebody without a doctoral degree? Yes. Why? Why?
Higher qualification?
Yeah. But is it really about, do I pay for qualification or do I pay for performance?
Yeah, I think it's a bit difficult because
Yeah.
if someone is working for a company for a long time, he might get all the qualification he needs for his business, for a job.
Okay.
Why should that person then be paid less? It's difficult to say.
So here it's not so easy. We have people who perform much, who have much experience in the company, but do not show the qualifications maybe others have. In many companies there are people without university degree, but they know everything and they are brilliant in what they do. Nevertheless, on average, you would say, yes, of course, qualification. That means you have at least the potential to perform well. Yeah, and here we must think about not only about performance. We must think about, I want to hire people. And I need some qualification. So the bigger the qualification, the higher the qualification, the more I must pay. Yeah, that's simply market, right? So market. Next point. When I determine the compensation of the people, does it make sense to look at what other companies pay? Yes, of course. Yeah. If I want to get the best, I must pay at least what the other companies pay. So when we look at the other companies, I mean, we talk about the market, right? Okay. So the market comes into play. I have to consider the market, not only the internal factors. Right? Okay, fine. But is it at the end not about the company success? Is it not about that we must be profitable, we must generate revenue, we want to achieve our goals, whatever they are? And would you agree that the more successful the company is, the more the people should earn? Yes, of course. Check. Cost of living. Should somebody who works, let's say as a teacher in Munich, should earn more than a teacher in Bad Schussenried? Yes, of course, because cost of living in Munich, Paris, yeah, is significantly higher than in somewhere nowhere. Okay? I mean, compensation is there that people, the employee, can spend their cost of living. Cost of living. Huh? Then the civil status. Would you agree that somebody who is married and has children should earn more than somebody who is a single? No? Are you single? Oh, yeah. I'm not allowed to ask you this as a professor. He asked me whether I'm single. Yeah, but in some organizations, at least here at the university, this rule is applied. Yeah, professors who have children earn more than professors without children. Tenure. The more years I spend with a company, the longer I'm with a company, the more I earn. Does that make sense?
That's what Sarah's point was, I think, earlier.
Yeah.
There's underqualified people in the company still making money.
Yeah. So you have people which are with the company for 10, 20 years. They know everything. They know everything about the products, the procedures, the customers, the technology, and everything. So there is the idea that the more time you spend with the company, the better you are, which is not always true, as we all know. The idea is here to say, well, the longer you stay with a company, the more you get. Okay? In public services, this is the case. Yeah, your salary gradually increase over the years. So, what is the message of this slide? This is, by the way, not a slide which you should learn by heart. Really, even myself, I could not repeat this by heart. Yeah, but you should be able to understand why these factors are there and what they mean, right? But the most important message on this slide is simply it's complicated, right? So if you are an HR director, and remember our case, we have 100 people, 5 million salary budget, and you have to distribute these 5 million across the 100 people. If this is all valid, if it's reasonable to consider all these factors, how must the compensation system look like? Okay, so that's the key message of this slide. That it's complicated. You must consider a lot of different factors, and the question now is, how can companies do this? Huh? Is there any idea?
When I worked at Bosch, there was like every year the team leader filled out a form about the performance of all the employees, and you would get like grades of like he worked really well, he did everything in a really good quality, and then the higher score you have, the more money you get. So it's like performance
management. Yeah, you're going to talk about performance management. maybe in the next session, the session after next session. It's a system where the manager and the employee get together once a year at least, talk about the performance of the employee, sometimes about the performance of the manager. And this determines variable pay. Yeah. But this is true. This is one answer, but it's just one answer because that relates to just one factor. That relates to performance. Yeah. How can we consider all the rest? Yeah. The answer is we have to have different components. Right? One component of what you get relates to performance. One component relates to responsibility. Another relates to qualification. Some components relate to multiple factors which are taken into consideration. So the answer is we have to have multiple components. And this leads us to an idea which we name total reward. Total reward. This is an overview on this slide where you find different components. And we're going to talk about most of them. Right? So please remember this term total reward. That's a key term in HR. Total reward means it's a sum of all the things employees get in order to acknowledge their work, their being with a company, right? And there are non-financial rewards, appreciation, privileges, a title, something like this. This cannot be expressed in terms of euro, yeah, in financial terms. This is more psychological, right? So we're going to talk about the left side. Are those things which can be expressed in financial terms, even though some components are not given to the people in terms of money. Okay, so let's talk about total compensation, which is one big piece of total reward. And here we have base pay. Base pay is a fixed salary which you get maybe on a monthly basis. Right? This particular relates to your responsibility and to the market. We're going to talk about this in more detail. Base pay. So in the next half hour, I'm going to tell you how companies can build a base pay system. Then we have variable pay on individual level or group level and on organizational level. Okay? And also there are different components. We're going to talk about all of these. And then probably you get benefits on top of everything, like free lunch, a company car, you can use your iPhone for private things, insurances, pension, different services. It's quite a lot. We're going to talk about this as well. Okay? So, let's talk about base pay system. Base pay. This is probably the biggest piece. Yeah. Again, it's what you really get on a regular basis, something that is agreed on in your working contract. Okay? Okay, how does that work? Let's have an example. Give me an example of any kind of job. What should we take? Any job, not professor. Any example? Do you have an idea?
Dentist.
Sorry?
Dentist.
A dentist. Okay. So, we are a big hospital. Yeah, we are a big hospital. We do not talk about the one single dentist company. We talk about hospital. And we have 20, 50 dentists, right? And the question is, how much should the dentist earn? Okay. Now, the first thing we do is we try to understand dentist. What does a dentist do? What is a dentist? I mean, it might sound like a silly question. We all know what a dentist is, but sometimes it's not that clear. Do you know what a key account manager does? Do you know what a SharePoint implementation architect does? Nowadays we have jobs which you've never heard of. So the first thing is, okay, it's the question about this job, and how much somebody should earn with this specific responsibility. The question is really, what is the responsibility? What is this job all about? We spoke about this. It's about job analysis, right? It's about understanding the nature of the job. Okay, but this is of minor priority. The important thing is that we do two things, right? And we're going to talk about this. We do two things now. We do a job evaluation. We evaluate the job of the dentist. How much is the responsibility of a dentist worth? Yeah? We all have the idea that the dentist has a higher responsibility than maybe the receptionist. But do we know how much more responsibility the dentist has compared to the receptionist? In terms of numbers. Yeah. Okay. So this is done in the job evaluation, and there are some techniques I'm going to show you. In parallel, we do a pay survey. The pay survey is about one single question. It's about the question, how much do dentists earn in the market? Okay. I do a survey asking different hospitals, you have dentists? Yeah, right. Perfect. So how much do they earn? I try to get an understanding about the compensation level related to specific jobs in the labor market. Okay. So these are the two things we do. Once we have the results of these two different steps, this is going to lead us to a pay structure. I'm going to talk about this. Let's start on the left side, job evaluation. When we talk about job evaluation, I want you to understand at least one famous, commonly used system. It's a system invented by a consulting firm called Hey. Yeah. Hey. It's the name of the company. And what we have are so-called compensable factors. What are compensable factors? Compensable factors are factors that allow us really to evaluate each and every job in the world. Okay? Is it a gardener? Is it a dentist? Is it a pilot? Is it a professor? Any kind, right? So, and the idea is we use these factors and now we can determine the value of the job. Okay? Now, let's have a look. One field is about knowledge, qualification, competencies. Okay? Now, this field is divided into three different factors. One is functional expertise, then we have managerial skills, human relations. Yeah? Let's make a very concrete example. I need a chalk. Now we have the dentist. Give me another example. With what kind of job should we compare the job of the dentist? Huh?
Policeman?
A policeman. Who should earn more? Who should earn more? The dentist. Yes, he has a doctoral degree.
Difficult. One is responsible for the life of others and the other one too.
Right. The one is responsible for the life of the others, and the other one is responsible for the teeth.
They have like high policemen and ones who are only sitting in the office.
The regular policeman walking around here, right? Okay, let's a good question. Let's be focused on this. Okay. We need to determine how much functional expertise must a dentist or a policeman have on a range from 0 to 8. You see the numbers here? We can, on maximum, we can assign 8 points to functional expertise. So let's look at the dentist and the policeman. Dentist? Policeman? 3.
I don't know.
Must know something about the law.
It depends, because like in America, you can go straight to the academy, or you can get a college degree and become an officer right away.
But the officers are not walking around.
The officers do not walk around.
Well, my uncle was a sheriff, and he got it right out of college, became a sheriff, but my cousin, he went through the police academy, still a beat cop.
Okay. Yeah, okay. We talk about this walk around policeman, yeah? Okay. It's 3 probably. Managerial skills. Huh? Not so much on both, right? The dentist. Huh? 2. Policeman. 4? I mean, managerial skill means to lead people. Yeah. Yeah, it's less.
I think the dentist has to have a lot more managerial skills.
Yeah,
I mean,
much more.
He has to tell his people what's going to happen in his office.
At least the dentist has a team.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's the head
Depending on
of
the
the
size
team.
of the practice.
Sure.
If you're
Sure.
looking at major hospitals,
We talk about the hospital dentist, but even then, he has a team around. He has to lead some people, has to coordinate. Yeah. So let's say 3-1. Okay. Human relation. Dealing with people. Yeah. Solving conflicts, building networks, acting in a social environment. Huh? The dentist.
I think a policeman is a lot more exposed to dealing with difficult people, challenging people.
The interaction of the policeman is always complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah. While for the dentist,
You pass out. So, 1 in 5.
I think the dentist is in a better, easier position than the policeman.
But on the other side, the dentist is also very personal with his patients. For
Yeah.
example, if they're feared,
Yeah. You need a lot of empathy. Yeah, dealing with the people. They have fear. I mean, the people the policemen treat also have fear, but for different reasons. So, let's say for both 3, okay? Problem solving. The environment, is it complicated? Is it constantly changing? Is it dynamic? Yeah, do you have to deal with uncertainty, things like this? How is it with a dentist?
I think it's pretty consistent.
Pretty consistent.
1 or 2.
With a policeman?
I'm just here in Berlin, that's you're here.
In Berlin, right? Let's say more or less.
More.
3,
5.
5?
I'd say 5.
I mean, think about people who really have a complicated scientists or some
Construction workers, I don't know.
engineers. Yeah. Would we agree on 4 or so? 5? 5? Challenge. This is about not about the environment in which I work, how uncertain this is, how dynamic this is. It's about the challenge as such. Are the problems a dentist solve huge or small? And the same with the policeman. How would you say? We saw it with the dentist, very consistent. Sometimes you have an issue and you're going to solve it. So, what do we say? Huh? Two.
The problems always stay the same, basically.
Same problems every day with the policeman. More. Accountability. Freedom to act. This is about, do I determine the way I work? Yeah? Do I have the freedom to decide upon how I do my work? Or is there somebody telling me how I should do my work? So the more freedom I have, the more points we should address.
I think policemen have to, they work for the government, so they have to follow a certain set of rules.
Yeah.
Whereas a dentist certainly has to follow a certain procedure,
Yeah.
but has more freedom in deciding, am I using this method to treat this patient's teeth, or
Yeah. I have the freedom to decide what to do, but
Right.
then once I've decided what to do,
what kind of filling
take
do I
out this
want?
tooth.
Yeah,
Let's do it. 1, 2, 3.
as
Yeah.
long as the patient agrees.
Maybe we have a naive idea of what the dentist does, but yes, but dentist has kind of freedom. Huh? Let's say 5. The policeman must follow some rules.
One
Maybe
2.
or two.
Impact on end results. How relevant is the dentist for the success of the entire hospital?
4.
4?
Is it the highest?
I mean 4. That's an executive. Yeah. Impact on end results. Am I really responsible for what we have at the end? Yeah. That's rather vague. Yeah. Let's put 2 on both. It's easy. Now, let's sum up. 7, 10, 15, 22. There's one missing, but we leave that out. 4, 15, 12, 15, 19. Okay. Dentist 24, policeman 19. That's a good example, I think, because sometimes we overestimate the dentist, or they overestimate themselves. Yeah. At the end, we see that, well, they work in a very standardized setting, much consistency, same procedures for different settings. While the policeman, sometimes we underestimate the responsibility of the policeman and the environment they work in. At least, this is what we can tell from our analysis. Okay? I mean, this analysis was there to show you how the usage of those compensable factors work. Right? Here I have a different example. This is taken. This is applied for a consulting firm. Okay. In a consulting firm, and probably some of you will work in a consulting firm. You find assistants, you find junior consultants, the graduates, yeah, senior consultants, those who spend more than, let's say, 3-5 years in that business. Project leads, they already have certain responsibility for people, but also for projects. Managers, yeah. Managers are responsible for, or then principals are responsible for revenue. They can hire people, lead bigger teams. Yeah. And here the same idea. We have different compensable factors. Here knowledge, leadership, budget, responsibility for results, cognitive challenges, mobility, strategic impact. And then you see here the different factors are weighted 2, 3, 1.5. And then we rate the different jobs based on a scale from 0 to 10. And then we simply multiply the weight with the rating, and then we get the actual value. Okay? And then at the end, we sum up the values, and then we got the job value. And on the bottom line, you see the job value for these different jobs: 22, 31, 57, 74. Okay. This is job evaluation. So, what you take home is companies use systems to evaluate the job, and the result are numbers, figures, concrete figures that tell us how much responsibility is related to the different jobs. While before the job analysis, before the job evaluation, we just have a kind of gut feeling, maybe a naive understanding about the worth of the different jobs. Now, with the job evaluation, we have very concrete numbers. And this is not textbook. Yeah? This is also written in some textbook. This is practice. Okay? Now, what's the problem now? The problem now is that now we have the job value. But the question now is, what does that mean in terms of euro, right? Here. You probably think that, okay, the relation of the salary between the dentist and the policeman should be like 24 to 19. Would we think that way? Now, the real question is, how can we translate the job value into base pay? Yeah. So now that was job evaluation. That was job evaluation. We now know the value of the different jobs. And as I said, in parallel, we do what we call a pay survey. What is a pay survey? What you typically use is you look at so-called benchmark jobs. What is a benchmark job? That's an important term here. A benchmark job is a job which you will find in many companies. Right? A job which you will find in many companies: purchase manager, receptionist, managing director. Of course, the same job, even though there's the same job title, responsibility might differ in different companies. Nevertheless, we have the HR director in different companies, we have the head of IT in different companies, we have a purchase expert in different companies. What we simply do in pay surveys, and you can buy these reports, they are very expensive, or you can conduct such a survey with the support of a consulting firm. What you would simply do with a pay survey is you try to understand what other companies pay to employees having specific jobs. Okay? So with the dentist example, we would buy a report, which is probably there, to understand how much is the base pay of a dentist in other hospitals. Okay? So what we get then is something like this. We look at the different jobs which we have in our company. Yeah? And here on the job value axis, we have the job value of the different jobs which we have in our company. Right? We have the receptionist, we have the purchase manager, we have the top executive, we have different jobs. And what we simply do is we compare the job value of these different jobs with the average salaries in the market. Okay? And what you get then is you will find that the average salary of the receptionist is rather low, while the average salary of those with a high job value also have a higher average salary in the market. Okay? So you will get something like this. Okay? There is a relation between job value and average salaries in the market. Now, if you want to understand the relationship between these two, we use a method which I have already mentioned when we talked about candidate selection. When we talked about objectivity, reliability, and validity, we talk about regression analysis. Regression analysis, which leads to the correlation as well. Okay? Regression analysis is a statistical method to understand the relation between different variables. Okay, and here we want to understand the relation between job value and market pay. So at the end, I don't want to talk about the regression analysis here. It's a course about human resource management, not about stats. But what you get at the end is this line, the regression line. And this line is the one that, to the best possible degree, represents this, the distribution of these different dots in this picture. Okay? So the line is not there, the line is not there, the line is not there, there's the line. Yeah? That line is the one that best represents the relation between these different dots on this picture. Okay? Let's just put it that way. Okay? The important thing is here that this market line now shows a direct relation between job value and market pay. Yeah? So that's the simple idea to say, okay, before we did this pay survey, we just had the job value, but job value does not tell us anything about the salary. Now with this, we have defined a clear relation between the job value and what is paid in the market. We have a formula now. We have a formula where we simply can calculate how much does it mean to have a job value of 17 in terms of euro. Okay? That's the outcome of this. Now, a simple decision of a company is say, okay, do we want to pay above market? Do we want to pay below market? Or do we pay market level? If we pay market level, you're going to end up like this. And this is a very important picture. This is what we call a base pay structure. You will find something like this in most companies. Right? So, again, we have here the job grades. These are based on the job values. For instance, we could say, okay, job value from 10 to 20, that's job grade 1. From 20 to 30, that's job grade 2, and so on. Okay? And now we can determine the salary band, yeah, related to the different job grades. So, if you are an employee knowing that you are in job grade 4 because of your responsibility and so on, you know that you can earn from here to here. Probably you are somewhere between here and here. If you want to earn more, you must get promoted to the next level. You must gain more responsibility. Then there is a chance to earn so much, right? That's what we call a base pay structure. Okay? Quite simple. And again, here you find the market line. Sorry, it's in German. Must change this. Now let's talk about this. I have included two people here, A and B. What is wrong with person A? What is wrong with person A? Does not earn enough, right? This person is on job grade 5, but earns less than what's determined in the pay structure. So what to do with this person? Salary increase. Okay, that's easy. How about person B? Throw him or her out. Lay off. No, it's what to do with person B? What's wrong with it?
Maybe give him more responsibility.
Right. Give this person more responsibility. Move him or her to level 6 maybe. Yeah. That's not always so easy. Yeah. Things like this happen. And of course, in some companies, the managers bypass the pay structure and find solutions for this. I've experienced something like this in my own career. I mean, I said that this is not only textbook, this is also practice. But as we know many times in HR, people are not dumb. They understand the structure. Once they really want that a person gets more, if you really want to retain a person, if you want to really hire a specific person, but the pay structure does not allow to pay a certain amount, you will find a solution. Okay, so that's something I want you to know. So, while this all makes sense to a certain extent, there are really some advantages and disadvantages, or let's say opportunities and threats. I want to talk about this for some minutes. Well, the good thing about job evaluation, about pay structure, and so is that you really have a common foundation for compensation-related decisions. Everybody knows this is what I get once I have this particular job grade. Please.
I have a question.
Please.
We had this HAY system. I thought it was used to evaluate the job
Right?
due to different criteria.
Right.
But I was wondering, where is the security aspect? I mean, there are certainly some jobs that have a high risk in security and some don't. Isn't this considered anywhere?
What do you mean by security aspect?
Yeah, I mean, okay, policemen, there are different responsibility levels, but there are some policemen who have to deal with
Danger.
Yeah, with
Risk.
danger, or maybe people working in mines, whatever.
Yeah, but that applies to the problem-solving field.
This is
Yeah,
okay.
definitely.
This is my question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So it's always good to tell the people, we have a common system. Everybody knows what you get on certain grades. Yeah, that makes things clear. Yeah, and every manager knows if I hire an employee for this job grade, this is what I can pay, not less, not more. Right? It makes sense to say, well, the compensation should depend on the level of responsibility. Yeah, the higher the responsibility, the more you get, and that's the best. What I've shown you is the best way really to determine this. You have a look at the responsibility, you look what the market pays, and then you come up with a conclusion. That's the best possible way to shape equity in that sense. Yeah. As I said, you have transparency. Everybody in the company knows this is what I get. That's clear. So compensation is not something secret that does not relate to nepotism or something vague. There is a clear structure, clarity. Sometimes it also makes sense to simply talk and think, discuss about the worth of different jobs in a company. I mean, this is something that really can add value. Simply to think about the value of different jobs. To deal with the different jobs, to get a better understanding about the different jobs. But this is of minor priority here. The most important points are the three above. But there are some threats, really. I mean, that everything I've shown you in the previous minutes sounds simple, and although this exercise looks simple, but we have experienced while we did this exercise that it's not always that clear. Yeah, if you talk with the employee representatives, the managers, with HR, with the managing directors, with the people in the company, when you talk about the worth, the value of different jobs, then that can be a very hot discussion. That's political sometimes. Yeah? You have to find a common ground. You have to find a consensus. And that's not always that easy. I mean, we can talk easy about this. A dentist, policeman. But, we talk about people. They have families. Yeah? They depend on the money they get. And we in the room say, 1 or 2. Yeah, I mean, it's not always that clear. And somebody has to do this exercise. So it's sometimes a lot of bureaucracy. Yeah, it's very hard to really find the right level of acceptance with all stakeholders, all those people who have an interest in this. And whenever we talk about money, things get complicated, right? And also, above all, if you want to do something like this, job evaluation, you have to have an understanding about what kind of jobs do we have. And I think about a company like Bosch. What kind of jobs do we have at Bosch? Blah. Millions. Yeah, it's a nightmare to understand the different types of jobs. Even with this university, what kind of jobs do we have? Professors and the others. No, it's not that easy. Even with the professors, hey, we have professors and we have the dean. Yeah, we have deans of studies. We have professors which are responsible more like this, or for this, or that. It's not so easy. Yeah. Okay. So this is the most important point. Is the last one: may reduce innovation, employee engagement. We talked about this point when we talked about the job analysis. This is not my job phenomenon. You know. And if I tell somebody in a company, you are paid like this because you are job grade 3, because you are just an assistant. And the person might say, okay, I get what I get just because I'm an assistant. You know, I do much more. Well, yeah, it's okay, but you are an assistant? This is what you get? That can reduce motivation. I think about my school, my gymnasium. Yeah. Yeah, there was an assistant, Sekretärin. She was the boss in that school. She managed everything. While the president of the school, he was really a warm body. He was simply not there. Yeah, chaotic. Yeah, he had no idea, no structure, nothing. This assistant, she really managed this school. Yeah. If you tell too loud to this person, hey, assistant, Mrs. Assistant, you are job grade 2, this is what you get. You tell this too loud. This person might say, well, you know what? If I really would do only what assistants do, if I would only do what I'm paid for, you could forget about this school. You know, and in some companies it's important that people do their extra mile, that people really are engaged, much more than what is described in the job description. Yeah, if you don't have these people, you might get lost. Okay? Forget about this point here. Okay. So, I'm sometimes asked how much you earn, at least in Germany, when you are a business graduate. And here is an example of a study. It's 6 years ago, but still valid, I would say. What I want to show with this, it's not only that it's relevant to you. I want to show you this because I want to demonstrate some important points here. The first thing is we have a difference with regards to the industry. Yeah. So if you are in the hospitality industry or education, you earn less than if you work in professional service industry as a consultant, or if you work in a financial institute. Yeah? So, I mean, that's simply market. It's simply the market. And we can't tell it simply on responsibility. This is how salary levels occurred in the last decades. You know, we have, not only in Germany, but also in other countries, we have Frauenjobs, jobs that primarily are done by women, and they earn less. Nurses, hairstylists, yeah, these are women jobs. Why are these women jobs? Because they always were women jobs, because of history. I mean, that's ridiculous to say a job is especially for women and the others not. But if you look at how many women do we have in certain jobs, yeah, there is clear tendency that women prefer different jobs than men. Yeah. But this is not the point. The point is that from history, yeah, there was always this mindset saying, well, if you are a nurse, you are a woman. Yeah, of course. And if you are a woman, you are married with a man, and the man earns the real money. So the women only work so that they don't get bored. They don't must work. They just work for fun. Yeah, they must not take care for the family. Work is fun. Okay, they should get something, but they don't need to be paid so much that they can really spend their cost of living. I mean, that's ridiculous what I say, but there was always this kind of mindset in the last decades. Yeah? And that's why nurses, florists, hairstylists don't earn as much. It makes absolutely no sense when we look at the responsibility. When we would add the nurse here, yeah, we would find that the nurse has much responsibility. Yeah? But the market did not develop that way. And this is also shown here. In some industries you have primarily women, in some others you have primarily men. Yeah? And can anybody explain why these things are as they are? No, it's just because of history. It's the market. Okay? What we also find is that the salary increase over year. If you would make a pay survey after you have graduated, when you are in the first job, after finished your study, you'll find that you earn pretty much the same. Right? If we meet again 10 years after, we will find that there's a huge variety. Some of you will earn not significantly more than after being graduated. And some of you, I won't say that you are incredibly rich, but some of you will really earn a lot. Yeah, so over the years, the spread will be huge. Okay, this is what we see on this slide. Okay, now I want to highlight one point which is also important in this compensation context. Here you find the median. The median. Okay, what is the median? Median. It's not the average, right? No. You learned that it's something different. What's the median?
It's sort of the middle value. If you have a set of numbers, it's the number that's exactly in the middle or between the two numbers.
Right. The number in the middle. Now, here, let's say the median here, hospitality industry is 30,000 euro. What does that mean? What does that mean? 30,000. Median. We learned it's the middle. Okay, but what does that mean?
That means that basically 50% of the other workers earn less and the other 50% earn more.
Right. That's it. 50% of the people in this industry earn more than 30,000 and 50% earn less. Perfect. Thank you. Yeah. We can't say this for the average. We can't say that. If the average of, let's say, an exam is 2.0, the average, we could not say that 50% are better and 50% are worse. We can't say this with the average. But if the median is 2.0, we can say 50% are better and 50% are less. Now, why is this important when we talk about compensation? And in all compensation reports, and also in these types of studies about compensation, you always will find the median. Why? What is special about the median? Simple question. We make a salary survey 1 year after you're being graduated, okay? With you, this group. Okay? now we have the median, we have the average. Okay, let's say the average is 40,000. Okay, the average is 40,000. Now we add one person to the group, let's say, or one of you is totally lucky and earns 1 million in a year. Yeah, totally rich. Yeah, you get the job of your life suddenly. For it. One of you is incredibly rich. How will this one single person who now is exceptionally rich, how will this person affect the average? Huh?
It will increase the average.
It will increase the average. Yeah, and then the average tells, wow, you earn a lot, but it's not that you really earn a lot. It's just because of this one single person, yeah, who really raises the average. What has happened to the median? Let's say the median is 40,000. You add this one single person, which is exceptionally rich. How will this affect the median? Less. So, this is important. Whenever we look at compensation, you will find that there are some people who show extreme values, extreme salaries. And you want that these extreme values do not affect either the average or the median. So we use the median. We use the median, and I really want you to understand what is the median. It's important stat. Why we use the median in this particular context. Okay? That's base pay. Yeah, that's so exciting. Yeah. And let's talk about variable pay. So you get your base pay. This is what you get on a monthly basis. Done. On top, on the base pay, you get some additional salary, additional pay. This is what we call the variable pay. Variable pay, as we said, depends on your performance or depends on the company's success. We will talk about the first thing, about the performance. And there are some very simple ideas here. Yeah, you will easily understand this, but just want to show it. One thing is the one-time bonus. That's a very simple idea. In some companies, or many companies, managers have a kind of budget. Let's say I have a team of 10 people and I have a budget of 10,000 euro. And I can use this budget to reward people on an individual basis. I just can say, well, Bernd, you did so extremely well now. You saved our butts. You really worked overnight. You did so extremely well. Here are 2,000 euros. And this person does not wait until the end of the year or will get it somehow with a pension or so. This it. You did extremely well. Here is your bonus. Yeah, that's a very powerful tool, by the way. Yeah, because the reward is really timely. It's timely close to the performance of the person. Yeah, it's one time, really one time. It's not that it will affect base pay. It's very flexible. Okay, so this is one thing. Some other things are piece rate systems. Akkord. Is there anybody in the room who worked on a piece rate system? Akkordarbeit. Did anybody of you worked in a piece rate system somewhere? I don't know, in summer or so. Huh? Never. Not anybody. Yeah. So you're lucky. Yeah. But you know why that is? Yeah. Akkord. You will never work in such a system. It means you do the same thing, really the exact same thing, in a very consistent way, again and again and again, every day, multiple times. You have two pieces, you have to put them together, take it from one box, the other box, and put it in the next box. And you do this 10,000 times a day. Wow. Okay. you have the piece rate systems in very structured, consistent work settings. Where you, yeah, okay. And the idea is that here, when we look at the daily performance, once you have achieved a certain level, once you have achieved 1,000 pieces a day, and you achieve even more for every piece you work more than what is expected, you get an additional pay. Yeah? So up to there, you get what you get, independent from your performance. But if you really work, if you exceed a certain level, for every piece you do in addition, you get some pay. Yeah. So that's on top. That's variable pay. Yeah. Very simple idea.
The one-time bonus is variable pay as well.
Yeah. One-time bonus is variable. This variable. What we also know, this idea is the provision. You use it primarily with salespeople, yeah. So you get your fixed pay, but on top, the variable pay depends proportionally on the pieces you sold. Right? You get 1% or 10% of the revenue which you've generated. So it's really proportional. It starts right from the first piece which you have sold. It's also very simple. You know this. What will be relevant to you in your career is what we call a target bonus system. Okay? Because, you are all knowledge workers. You're going to be knowledge workers. What means knowledge worker? You will work with your brain. You will think and you will communicate, as I said. You will think and communicate. And you will work in rather complicated settings. Yeah, you will solve problems. You will work on projects. You will not work on consistent procedures, hopefully. Okay? So, if we define performance-based pay in your setting with people who work as knowledge workers, it's more complicated. And what most companies do is that at the beginning of the year, there's agreement between a supervisor and the employee saying, okay, what are your objectives? Okay. My objective number one is that I will manage the relaunch of our website. And I will achieve 2,000 hits a day. Objective number one. Okay, I will work with this fair. We're going to have this fair. We go to the CeBIT, and I will be responsible for the booth. These are my 2 projects. And then there are 3 other minor projects for this year. But that's it. Okay, it's defined. Yeah. And then there's an agreement between you and your supervisor saying, okay, if you achieve all this, if you 100%ly achieve this, you will get 100% of the target bonus, let's say 10,000 euro. So after a year, you talk about the performance. You remember 1 year ago, you said you will be responsible for the relaunch, the website, 2,000 hits a day. Where are we? Hey, great. I did this in 3 months. We have 5,000 hits a day. Yeah, but the fair did not work so well. Okay, so let's say for the first objective you have definitely overachieved. Let's say 130%. Let's say 140. Okay, 135. But with the other, you were only 90%. Okay, in sum, you have achieved 121% of your objectives. 121, that means you get 121 of the target bonus. That's the idea. Sounds simple, rather complicated, but that's how it is done. It also involves some kind of negotiation, right? So what we also find in some companies that the employees are offered different modes, different models, A or B. Now let's say you are a person saying, well, I'm never sure whether I achieve my objectives. To be honest, I think I'm a loser. I don't think that gonna make it. I need the money. I need the money. Just bought a house. I really need the money. I don't. Which model will I take? A. Right? If I say, well, I will always overachieve. I'm a natural born winner. Yeah. I love risk taking. No risk, no fun. I'm going to take B. That relates to the idea that people have different risk preferences. Yeah. And you can offer different models to these different people. Okay. So this is variable pay related to performance. Okay. When you look at the textbook, you will find that all these ideas are related to individuals. Yeah, you can use the one-time bonus, piece rate system, provision, target bonus. You can use all these things for individuals, and for groups, it's different. In fact, it's not. Yeah. You can use all these things, the one-time bonus, provision, piece rate system, target bonus. You can apply all these ideas also for groups. It's more or less the same. Yeah, a little bit more complicated, but the idea is more or less the same. Okay. Here's a story for you. There was an old man, yeah, and in his yard there were some kids playing football, soccer, and that drove him crazy, right? So the old man really wanted to get rid of these kids. So what's the traditional approach?
Shouting at the kids.
Shout. Throw them out. Huh? Throw them out. Now, this guy was smart, and he did a kind of paradox treatment. He told the kids, you know what? I like you to play football in my yard. That's really great. And for playing football in my yard, every one of you gets €1. Okay, great. 2 days later, the old man told to the boys, you know what, I really love you to play football in my yard. You get 50 cents. Great. 2 days later, he told the kids, you know what, thank you for playing football in my yard. Every one of you gets 10 cents to play football in my yard. And the boys responded, 10 cents only? No, we refuse. For 10 cents only, we don't play football in your yard. Right? So he got rid of these kids by paying them. Is that reasonable? Somehow, or? Feels reasonable. There were studies, lots of studies. A very simple one was, children love to draw pictures, right? As you did when you were a child. You love to draw pictures. You give children sweets, cookies, for drawing pictures. Once you stop giving them this kind of reward, they stop drawing pictures. Okay? So, what is this story all about? It's about whether we really can motivate people by paying. So, in the last course, in the last session, I told you, there are some methods in HR, pay for performance. We say we pay people for demonstrating a certain level of performance. And that's a very traditional understanding. The more you pay, the more you get. Right? But that's only half true. Can we really motivate people through pay? It's not that you only understand these concepts of human resource management, especially with regards to compensation benefits. I want you to understand how and whether pay can really increase performance. Here is another example. The candle problem. As you can see on this slide here, I refer to a presentation which you can download there on TED. It's not an academic source, but I really recommend you to have a look at this. It's from Daniel Pink, and he explained this kind of experiment. That's a very crucial experiment in this particular context. So this is the candle problem. Look at the picture number 1, the left picture on the left side. It's a puzzle. And the puzzle is, please try to fix the candle on the wall, and it must burn for a couple of minutes. Yeah. Okay, what do people do? They take these nails, yeah, in this box there are nails. They take these nails and try to fix the candle at the wall somehow. Does not work. Does not work at all. Okay. There's only one solution for this problem. It's you must you must understand that this box where the nails are in, you can use this. This box is not only there to have the nails somewhere, but you can use this box. So the solution is shown in picture number 2. Take the box, you fix the box at the wall, put the candle on it, burn it, it works. Right? So now the experiment is that way. We have 2 groups, right? We can imagine now the group on the right side and the group on the left side. And I tell the different groups 2 different things. To the one group I say, well, just try to solve this problem as fast as possible. Okay? To the other group I tell, try to solve this problem as fast as possible. And if you are among the best, if you are really fast, yeah, you get 10 euro each. Okay? So you get rewarded for being fast. You don't get anything. Okay? Group number 1, group number 2. Who is faster? Sorry?
I guess those will be rewarded.
The one who gets rewarded. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. If you get money for doing something, you are more engaged. Right? You perform better. You are highly motivated. I get some money, so I hurry. Yeah, of course. You are faster than this group. Surprise? It's exactly the opposite. This group is slower than this group. This group is faster. The group which does not get any reward is faster than the group that gets a reward. Okay? Huh? How could that be? And this is an experiment that works always. Yeah? We have hundreds of articles out there, hundreds of studies, which always show the same result. If we reward people for a problem like this, they are slower than the one who don't get any reward. Why?
Maybe the ones with the reward are so nervous.
Those with the reward, they are nervous. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, they got under pressure. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, that goes in the right direction. Those with the reward, what do they think about? They think about the reward. And when they ask them, why do you do this? I do it for money. Yeah? They only think about the reward. While the other people, they just want to solve the problem. Okay? Okay? Now, look at picture number 3. Yeah? Same scenario. You see the box, you see the can, you see the nail, and it matches. Now it's quite easy, or? Yeah? If the nails are not in the box, it's easy. You immediately realize that you can use this box to fix the candle at the wall. Right? Now, same scenario. I tell this group number 1, well, fix the candle at the wall and you don't get any reward. To this group, number 2, I say, well, fix the candle at the wall. You get a reward if you are really fast. Who is faster? Who thinks number 1? Who thinks number 2? Okay. Group number 2 is right. Yeah? So the group that gets rewarded is faster. Always. You can do this study again and again and again. Group number 2, the group who gets a reward, is faster. Now, how can that happen? I mean, handle problem number 1, handle problem number 2.
For the one without reward, there's no problem to solve.
There's no problem to solve. There is no. It's boring. Yeah. Now, what's the difference? The difference in this problem and to this problem is what? The difference is here you have to think. Okay. This is brain work. This is handwork. Okay. If a task is really stupid, yeah, if you don't need to think, if you just work with the hand and you get a reward, you are faster when you get a reward. If you have to think, if you have to be creative, if you have to solve a problem which is complicated, where are multiple different solutions, where you not even know whether there is a solution. In those circumstances, a reward will damage motivation. Okay? Okay, so rewards only work, that's the conclusion of these experiments at least. Yeah? Rewards only work if you don't need to think. Now, question to you. What kind of problems will you solve in your career? I mean, you will be graduates, you will be well-educated employees. Will you solve these kinds of problems? Or will you solve these kinds of problems? Huh?
Probably number 1.
So probably number 1. Yeah? As I already said, in your work, you will do 2 different things. You will think and you will communicate. Right? While maybe your grandparents or parents of your grandparents, probably they worked with their hands. Yeah? In the age of industrialization, many people simply worked with their hands. They did not think. Sometimes they were not allowed to think. Yeah? Because those who thought were who? The managers. Right? Okay. But now, in our days, it's much more about brain work and it's less about handwork. So please take this. Yeah? Of course, this is only half the story. We know that, of course, money matters. Yeah? Of course. It matters especially when you select your job. Yeah? If you have 2 options. You have one option in this company and you have one option in this company. And let's assume the situation in both companies is the same. Great people here, great people there, great job there, great people there. It's in the same city. Both companies have good reputation. And so it's really equal. But this company pays you more than this company. Which company will you choose? The first one. Of course. Right? So once it comes to the decision which job to take, money plays a role. But don't think that you're gonna be better, you perform better just because of money. Okay? Now, there is one thing which I want you to understand, and this is about motivation. Okay, I mean, we could spend the entire course around motivation. It's a very, very exciting field. Human motivation, motivation at work. What makes people really excited about what they do? And when we talk about motivation, I want you to understand that there are 2 different types of motivation. Right? One motivation is intrinsic. Intrinsic motivation, probably you have heard about this concept already. Intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation. Intrinsic, extrinsic. What is the difference? Remember the story about the kids playing football in the yard? At the beginning, why did they play football in the yard?
Because it was forbidden.
because it was forbidden. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Another.
They needed a place to play, so it was a play.
No, they simply love to play football, right? Sorry. They played football because they love to do it. Why do children draw pictures? Because they love to do it. Why do some people in companies do what they do? Because they love what they do. And I hope, in your case, you will do things which you love to do. Yeah?
I want to say that when our kids later on will draw, we're not going to reward them, because if we start to do that, one time they will just start
Right.
drawing pictures.
So, if children are intrinsically motivated, yeah, they love to draw pictures, and you start to reward them. You give them sweets, you give them cookies. Then they do this because of the sweets. They do this because of the cookies. And this is an extrinsic motivator. You do things because you are rewarded by somebody. Yeah. We also name this sticks and carrots. Yeah. You do things because somebody else, not you, somebody else wants you to do this. And you do this because you get a reward. And if you would not get this reward, you would not do this. It's that you would not do this naturally. Yeah? If you do things naturally, by your own, because you love it, then you are intrinsically motivated. And we do a lot of things intrinsically motivated. I mean, just think about what you have done yesterday. Think about 5 things which you have done yesterday. You can make a list. Then you ask yourself, okay, the first thing I done, did I do it because I was intrinsically motivated or intrinsically? Yeah? There are some things which you do intrinsically motivated because you simply love to do it, you like to do it. Yeah? And there are things which you simply do because you get a reward, you get a grade, you get a credit. Right? You know business talks? Of course, you know business talks. I was responsible for business talks. Yeah, you know, it's a students' initiative. Yeah, which invites speakers to our campus, organizing events, and so there are around 20, 30 students involved in business talks. Yeah, at our university. And when I took over responsibility for business talks, every student got credit. Everybody, all the 30. And to me, I found this ridiculous because, I mean, how many students really work on business talks? I mean, really work. 5, 10, really. Those few students that take really responsibility, these are not so many. So we decided to say, you don't get credits, only these 5 people, the managers, the team leads, they get credits, the others don't. So many students stopped being engaged in business talks. They simply stopped. Yeah. Well, my idea was, if students are involved in this students' initiative, they should do it because they love to do it, because they are intrinsically motivated. I don't want to have students being engaged in business talks just because of the fucking credits. Yeah. Okay. So students stopped being engaged in business talks, and it took us 2 years that students come back and just do it because they love to do it, because they love to work in the group, meet others, doing something, right? So we must be very careful with paying for performance. Okay? So this is around motivation. I really want you to have opinion on this. I once asked in an exam, does pay motivate? And I really want you to have an opinion on this. Okay? So,
Is it okay if we have our own opinion and in some points disagree?
so there is a question, is it okay to have your own opinion?
I don't think it's just black or white.
I want you to have your own opinion. Yeah? You must not share my opinion. You must not share scientific opinion. You must have your own opinion. But in your own opinion, it should be kind of elaborated. Okay? Okay. Okay. So,
we learned that there is base pay, right? There's base pay. This is the money you get on a monthly basis, maybe just because it's agreed on in your working contract. Okay, and we learned that the base pay very much depends on your responsibility and on what the market typically pays for such kind of job, right? This base pay. We spoke about this for a while. Then I told you that on top on base pay, that typically is the variable pay, which mainly depends on performance. Yeah, piece rate systems, target bonus, one-time bonus, all this kind of stuff, right? And this pay for performance can be done on an individual basis, of course. This is what we mainly find, but also on group level. Right? It's a simple idea saying, well, you are a team of 5 people. The better you do, the more you get. Right? You get a provision, you get a bonus for being better. You can do this. Yeah? Does it motivate or not? I don't care at this point of time, right? Okay, at this moment. But there are these kinds of systems on individual basis and on group basis. Now we move to a more general level. Let's talk about pay for organizational success. Okay, so this is the third component. Let's talk about this. And here we have 3 different systems which you need to understand. Yeah? These are the main 3. I want you to understand these 3. I want you to understand what is the difference and why are they there. What is the idea behind? Okay? The first one is something which you already know. I mean, the first one is kind of clear. Yeah? It's profit sharing. The idea is the more successful a company is, the more you get. Okay? Simple. So, to a certain extent, you just share the risk of the company, yeah, with the people. Yeah? If we don't do well, as a company, I have to pay less. But if we do well, you get more. Okay. Yeah. So you adapt your pay level to the company's success. Let's have an example on this. Right? So just to have a little bit an idea how much that could be. Yeah. Now, I need a chalk. Let's think about a company of 1,000 people. Okay? Let's say a company is a supplier in the automotive industry. Employees, 1,000. Supplier in the automotive industry. What's the revenue of this company? Again, this typical business question. Yeah, you should be prepared for questions like this. What would you guess?
1 billion.
1 billion.
If you take Continental or something.
Yeah. Okay. 1 billion. More.
No, the profit.
Revenue. Revenue.
Okay. 15 billion.
15 billion.
I don't know, it depends on the size of the company
1,000 employees.
and what they produce also.
A supplier in the car manufacturing
Yeah, I mean,
industry.
there are many
They
goods
build some
that come
components
inside.
for cars.
Yeah, then maybe we'll stick to 15 billion. I would suggest it's a little bit less, but is it annual or monthly?
Annual.
Yeah, then it's probably more.
Okay.
How many employees does?
1,000 employees.
No. For comparison, how many employees does BMW or something?
How many employees is BMW?
10,000.
10,000 BMW?
15,000.
With BMW, I'm not sure. So
Just give me another.
I would say 120,000. Okay. Revenue. €100 million. 100,000 euro revenue per employee. That's reasonable. Okay. Just to give you a little bit. If you have 100 people, if you are 100 people in this industry, 10 million. That's reasonable. Right. Okay. Now, what is profit? Company like this, what is the profit?
Maybe 10%.
10%. They are lucky if they achieve 10%, but let's assume the company does really well. Yeah, then it's 10 million profit. It's probably less. Yeah, the automotive industry is really tough, very tight. It's probably about 5%. Okay, 10 million. Now let's assume that if you have 10 million profit, what do you do with the profit? What does the company do with the profit?
Reinvest.
Reinvest, of course. So they would not share the entire profit with the employees. Of course. So let's assume they share $1 million. That would be 10%. 10% of the profit shared among the employees. Yeah. Now let's assume we share it equally, right? So how much does every employee get? Profit per employee, 1,000 euros. Now you pay taxes on this and everything, so how much is left? 500 euro? Huh? Okay. Profit sharing. That's not so significant, right? It's not that you really can engage people just through profit sharing. That's a minor part, right? Okay, for students, 1,000 euro. That's a hell lot of money. Yeah. If you have family and everything, 1,000 euro. Let's say this is nice, okay? But that's not significant. That's a little bit on top, subtract the taxes, and so there's not so much left. Okay. Profit sharing. Okay? A second concept is employee stock ownership. What is the idea? You simply make the employees owner of the company. Yeah? You allow the people to buy stocks of their own company at a cheaper price than on the stock market. Okay? So it could be, a typical example is that for a certain percentage of your fixed salary, let's say 10% of your salary, you can buy stocks 10% cheaper than on the stock market. Of course, you have to retain these stocks for a while. Yeah? Otherwise, you would buy the stocks, you would resell it on the stock market, and you would make profit. Of course, you have to keep these stocks for a while. Okay? So you become owner of the company, at least to a certain extent. Okay? You have stocks of your company. If the company is doing well, stock price increases, yeah, and after a while you can sell the stocks and you succeed. If the stock goes down, do you lose money?
Depends.
You buy. It depends on what?
You got 10% discount.
Okay.
So
Stock price decreased by 20%.
yeah.
You lose money.
Yeah.
Of course, there's a risk. Okay. Okay. So you can win, you can lose. This is stock ownership. I mean, it's a very simple idea. What happens if people have stocks of their own company? What do they do when they the first time open the browser in the morning, what do?
See the stock price.
They check the stock price. And once you have stocks of your own company, the stock price of your own company becomes relevant to you and you are interested in how well the company does. Is that good?
Yeah.
Yes, of course. I think it's good. If the employees know how the company is doing. Okay? So this is a way to really make the people more engaged with the company. We should not overestimate the effect of stock ownership, but at least to a certain extent, the company's success becomes kind of relevant to the people. Okay? And that's a good idea. Okay? Now, this is employee stock ownership. What is employee stock option? Yeah? Now, this is the right to buy a certain number of shares at a specific price. Huh? It's just the right. What does that mean? I have a picture here. Now, let's assume, let's have a very simple example and you will immediately get what that means. Okay? We are here. Yeah? This is the now. Okay? Stock price is €6. Okay? Now, you get the option at this point of time to buy 1,000 stocks, 1,000 at a price of €10. This is what you get. The right option to buy 1,000 stocks at the price of €10. What do you do? Nothing. Nothing. Okay? Now, the company does like this. The stock price goes down. The company is doing not so well. What do? Nothing. You do nothing. Did you lose money? No. Did you win anything? No. You didn't lose, you didn't win. Just a pity. Okay? I mean, that's the difference, yeah? If you buy stocks, yeah, that was the second approach. If you buy stocks and the company does like this, you lose money. If you get stock options and the price of the stock price goes down, you don't lose. And you don't win. Yeah? Okay. Now, second scenario. Stock price goes like this, and the company is doing well. And now, some years later, we are here. What is the stock price? €13. What can you do at this point of time? Yeah? You buy the stocks. You buy 1,000 stocks at which price? 10. Yeah, that was agreed. You buy 1,000 stocks for €10, €10,000, and what do you do in this particular second?
Sell it.
You sell it. You buy it and sell it. Yeah. And how much money do you get? Huh? 13,000. So it's a difference of €3,000. You win. Okay? You win €3,000. And you have never really owned the stocks. Okay? You just can win. You can't lose. That's the idea. Now, why is that there? I give you some example. Let's get back, let's say, 10 years. Yeah, there was the internet bubble. Remember? There were millions of startups, small companies, entrepreneurs which started their own small business. And at that time, the stock option idea was very, very present. Yeah. Now, let's think about this particular situation. A startup company, newly founded company. You have 5 people there starting their business. if you start your own business, you have to have the most brilliant people you can get. Really highly engaged, highly motivated people. People who don't work for money. Okay? If you want to have really brilliant people, those people would earn a lot of money if they would be employed with IBM or Siemens or Bosch. A startup is never able to pay the same level of salary to their people as the big corporations do. They simply can't, because in the first few years of a company, you maybe don't make any revenue. You don't make revenue and you don't achieve any profit. So you can't pay a lot. So the idea is, you tell to a top candidate, you tell to Bernd, I want you. I know you earn 100,000 euro at Siemens. I want you to become part of my company. I can't pay you a lot. But what you can get is you get options. Okay? If the company is doing well in the future, if you really believe in this, you can become rich. But only if the company is doing well. Okay? I want you to believe in this company. If you don't believe in this company, you won't join anyhow. Okay? So I can really have the opportunity as an entrepreneur to pay less to the employee, but to share the risk, which I have as an entrepreneur. I share the risk with the employee, saying, okay, I can't offer you a high level of base salary. It's simply not possible. But you get options. And if we do well, you can earn a lot of money. A hell lot of money, maybe. Okay? If we don't do well, okay, the pity. That's the idea of stock options. You only get those people who really believe in the company. They get the chance to earn a lot of money, maybe to become rich. Yeah? But only if the company is doing well. Right? So that's the idea of stock option. When I go back, sometimes I see that students mix up these two ideas. There's a really difference between employee stock ownership, you own the stocks, compared to employee stock option. That's a totally different story. So please don't mix these two things up. They're different ideas, different approaches. Okay? Good. So, now let's move to next part. Benefits. Yeah? One is compensation. It's very much about money. And benefits. Yeah? Once you are employed, you get benefits. And this slide is not there to be learned by heart. Really, I can't reproduce this by heart. This slide is there, and you see what is there, right? So it's just some examples on this. So companies pay insurances, maybe life insurances, health insurances. You might get a company car. You can visit the corporate fitness center. You might get a free lunch. Yeah, you get coffee for free. You get water for free. You can use your mobile for private affairs. You can use your laptop, your iPad, the company-owned iPad for private affairs. There is a child care. You have the company kindergarten where you can leave your children while you are at work. There is the corporate hairdresser. There is pension, disability insurances. Maybe for those who get burned out, they get psychiatric counseling. You have a corporate physician. So hundreds of things which are offered to the people on top to what they regularly get. Okay? What is a sabbatical? Have you heard this? A sabbatical. That's the idea that you can have some times off, yeah, spend half a year or an entire year. You just can stop working for an entire year, go sailing around the world for a year, and you can get back. You get the guarantee to work on the same job as before, but you don't get so much salary, or in some countries don't get any salary. Okay, yeah, it's just opportunity. At SAP, we had tennis courts all around the campus. At MLP, you have a beach ball field. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, in some companies, you really think that it's more like a fitness center or a sports campus than a working campus. It's kind of interesting. Okay, so you understood what is there, right? Okay, this is just interesting, nice. The most important question around this is, why do companies offer benefits? Huh?
To keep their staff motivated.
Right. Yeah. It's about psychological aspects. Yeah. So you motivate the people. In history, we always had this kind of entrepreneurs that really show that they care for the people. Yeah? Think about in very former days in history, Krupp, for instance. Krupp, ThyssenKrupp. Yeah? Krupp was an entrepreneur who was very well known for taking care for their people. He built houses for them. Yeah? He invented some other benefits, just for showing that he cares for the employees and the people. Robert Bosch, was very well known for taking care for the people, and we have this at many places. Yeah, that the entrepreneurs, the founders of the company, really have they're really committed to the well-being of their employees and their families. They want that their people do well, because they believe if they don't do well, yeah, if their families don't do well, they don't work as expected. Okay, so this is around motivation, right? Yeah. Caring for the people. What else?
To retain the workforce.
To make the location that the companies are more attractive, because sometimes people have to relocate. And,
Yes.
moving to another company.
Yes. Yeah. To make the company a more attractive place to work. Of course. Yeah. I choose the company where I get the better benefits. Yeah. Here I get this company car. Here I get this company. So I better choose this one, right? Because here I get an A8. Here I get an A6. Yeah. But not only for attracting people, also for retaining people, benefits might be interesting. Do we have it here? Here, interest-free building loan. What is that? Some companies have this. They offer to their people, if you buy a house or a flat nearby the company, yeah, you get a loan, interest-free. Credit, Baukredit. Yeah. You get 50,000 euro and you don't have to pay any interest. Yeah. Why do companies do this?
So they build houses and stay there?
Right.
Because
Yeah.
when you have a house, you will stay there.
Yeah. This is especially relevant for companies which are located somewhere nowhere. Okay? Think about companies like Marquardt in Riedheim. Everybody who works at Marquardt lives in Riedheim, and everybody who lives in Riedheim works at Marquardt. Yeah? Everybody who lives in Schiltach works at Hansgrohe. Yeah? So, if somebody builds a house in Schiltach or in Riedheim, you will stay with Hansgrohe or Marquardt for the rest of your life. This is the case at least in Germany, right? Okay? You would like to stay where your children grow up because you want to give them a home base, right? I know in different cultures it's different. Okay? But this is a way to retain people. And it's good to retain some people. Yeah, at least most of the people. Okay? What else? How's it with the company car? I mean, most of you will get a company car once you succeed in your career. Once you achieve a certain base pay level, a certain grade, you get the option to get a company car. How does that work? Do you just get the car? No. You have to pay for it. Right? You have to pay for a car. Yeah? Maybe you pay 1% of the price of the company of the car every month. So it's a minor proportion. You pay it every month, but you get the car and you get all the service. Yeah. You get everything, but you don't pay too much. You at least you would not pay as much as you would pay if you would buy the car as a private person. How does that work? What is a typical company car? Passat. Yeah, Passat. Passat, Audi A4, Avant. Yeah, this is a typical company car. Audi A4, Avant. How much is that?
40,000.
40,000, let's say, with everything, navigation system, leather seats, 50,000. 50,000. Now, let's say a company like Bosch. They buy 10,000 A4 every year. 10,000. Yeah. What do they get? Come on. Discount. Of course. They negotiate with Audi saying, hey, Mr. Audi, we buy 10,000 A4 every year. So what's the discount? How much is the discount? I don't know, but what would we guess? 10%. 10% maybe 15%? 20%? I don't know. But let's say 20%. Okay, the company buys the car. Yeah? And now you as an employee, you pay the car, but you pay really less than if you would buy the car as a private person. At least the company can reduce taxes through buying these cars. So there are a lot of effects the company has when buying a car. And if you share these effects with the employees get the chance to have a car at a much cheaper price than if they would buy the car as a private person. Okay? That's a very easy, simple idea. Now, if I get the chance as an employee to have a car and I pay much less than as a private person, maybe I'm willing to accept a lower base pay. I would accept a lower base pay. 100 less in a month, I don't care. I'll get a company car, that's fine. Okay, so once I accept a lower base pay just because of my company car, me as a company, I save a lot of money. I save money by offering company cars to the people, right? Because what do I pay for the discount? Nothing. I just get it. I just have to negotiate it. But I don't have to spend anything. Maybe a lunch. That's not a lot. Okay, I have administrative costs, but I don't have to spend anything to really save money.
But can the people keep their company car when they leave the company?
When an employee leaves the company, they typically can keep the company car. They can buy it. Yeah, you get an offer of the company saying, you leave the company, okay, we calculate the value of the car, so you can buy it, but you don't have to buy it. Okay?
But usually that's not a smart thing to do, because the value of the car in a company that works in technology or whatever, they don't list the car in its market price, but in a much, much lower price, because it loses value in the company much more, and then you can sell it for a few thousands more.
Yeah.
that's quite a good thing if you have like an Audi A5 or whatever, or A6.
Yeah.
What
Okay.
I want you to see
Is that okay? Companies offer benefits because they are committed to the people. They want to take care for their people. But companies also can save money through giving benefits. Let's have two other examples. Yeah? We spoke about the company car. We spoke about the interest-free building loan. What about free lunch? You offer people a free lunch in the company-owned canteen. What is the effect? What if there is no free lunch? The people have to pay for it, right? Let's say €8 a day. And they have to pay it privately. I have to pay for my money. I have to pay €8 for the lunch. How much does the company pay for the lunch? Huh? Maybe the same price. Yeah? If they don't want to make any profit with the lunch, yeah. Like, let's say they pay also €8 per lunch. But if a company pays €8 per lunch, what can they do? Reduce taxes. Right? Okay. This is part of my costs, right? While me as a company, if I pay for lunch, I can reduce taxes, while a private person can't reduce taxes by paying for lunch. Okay, so there's a benefit for the company. So now, both company and the employees are better off when the company is paying for lunch. Yeah, they can really save money. Then they let the employees participate from this benefit. Okay. So this is, and you probably know better how that works because your business. I'm just a dumb psychologist. I don't know about this mechanism. Yeah. Okay. Another example is shown here: deferred compensation. I want you to understand this term, deferred compensation. Okay. Now we got the situation where employees, let's say employees get part of the profit, a shared profit. And as in our example, let's say the people get 1 million in total. If we have 1,000 people, it's €1,000 per employee. Okay, and now we have two opportunities. One opportunity is to pay this shared profit in cash. And to say, okay, Bernd, here are €1,000. The company did well. Here is €1,000. Good luck. Have fun. If I get €1,000 as an employee, I have to pay taxes, okay? And the company has to pay some amount for social security reasons, okay? So, in total, there is 1 million which I pay to the employees. I have to add 200,000 social security for legal reasons, yeah? The employee must equally pay some social security amounts, have to pay taxes, though at the end the employees really got in cash 500,000. Yeah? So the idea is that not to pay the money in cash, would say, well, Bernd, here's €1,000. We put this €1,000 in a fund. Yeah, we save it for your pension. Yeah. And once we do this, we don't have to pay any social security. We don't have to pay taxes for this. It's just there. Okay. So we save all this. So, and here is the difference. The benefits for the company. I pay less. I save 200,000, and the employee get more. Okay. I know that. If you are an expert in deferred compensation, you say, okay, it's not that easy. You pay taxes once you get the money back when you are retired. But so there are some mechanisms which show that it's not so clear. But at least the idea you should understand. Not paying money in cash, but put it into your pension. So, and through this, you might save some money. Okay? You can play around with money. So, to sum up here,
a packed slide. Yeah, it's just a summary of what we just have shared. I showed that you can save taxes, you can reduce risks, of course, with all the insurances and all this stuff. You can save taxes through benefits. You can attract, retain people through benefits, maybe. Here, the company car example, you can add value, value which is higher than the costs related to certain benefits. And of course, we didn't mention this, some benefits are required by law. Okay? In Germany, I have to pay for health insurances. I have to do this as a company. Okay? Now, real quick, I would like to share with you one concept which is relevant in this particular context. It's flexible benefits. Flexible benefits. A very simple idea. I showed you that companies offer a lot of different things. Insurances, interest-free loans, okay? 100 different things. But not every benefit is of equal value for everybody. That depends on your private situation. It depends on your personal preferences. I mean, a young single, 28 years old, without family, without kids, has different preferences than, let's say, a 45-year-old employee with a family, 3 kids and so. Okay, so different preferences, different private situations. So the interest-free building loan is not of equal value for everybody. Okay, life insurance is not of equal value for everybody. Okay, so different benefits are of different value for different people. So that's a reason why companies used to offer different benefits to the people, saying, well, look, it's like a pizza. Okay, this is the base. Now you can decide whether you want to have some salami, some mushrooms, some whatever you want to have it. So that the entire pizza is of highest value to you. Yeah? For everybody, it's equal cost, but the value for you is related to your preferences. So people can choose which benefits they want to take. Okay? They can compose the different components of benefits so that they have the highest possible value. Okay? So this is what we name flexible benefits, or in short, FlexBen. It's an interesting concept, showing that, okay, depending on your preferences, you can compose your different components of benefits so that you really can achieve the highest possible value. Okay? I just wanted to add this because this is a very important concept related to benefits. Okay? So I think with this you have quite a good understanding about the different concepts which we have in compensation benefits. Okay? Okay. By the way, if you want to read more around compensation and benefits, if you want to understand again, if you want to read again about what is a stock option, what is stock ownership, you can find a lot in most of the available HR textbooks. Yeah, this is really textbook stuff. Okay.